Hey, I'm Brenda here at Turning Point, and we have the privilege tonight of having a guest speaker with us. Her name is Jodi from Traditions Tallow, and she is going to give us all the insight into tallow and how they make it and the processing. I don't know. I can't wait to find out. But the thing is, there are so many cool things going on in the state of Nebraska to use the things that we have, the resources that we have here in order to encourage better health. And I'm excited because this is just one more way that we can use a Nebraska resource. And so let's welcome Jodi.
So that was actually perfect because that's exactly how I got into this work of doing tallow, because I was pregnant with, I think, my 5th baby maybe. I kind of lost track. And I developed, I have 7 kiddos. I developed an allergy to the lotion that I'd always been using. And I was like, what am I gonna do now? And I started talking to my dad, and he was like, you know, Grandma used to do something with tallow. And I was like, I should figure out what that is. She passed away when I was about 5. But my family's always processed our own meat ourselves. So I have a cousin that raises about a dozen head of cattle. And then there's probably 40 or 50 of us now that gather, and we process all of our own beef, from the cow to our freezers. And so we were really sitting on this treasure trove of tallow, and I began to just get curious about it probably, 5-7 years ago or so, and just started to experiment. And then about a year and a half ago, my husband got laid off from work. And we thought, well, what better timing to offer the things that we were doing anyway to the rest of our community. So that's what we did. And we just kind of started out with kind of a spaghetti business plan, kind of just throwing things against the wall and just see what stuck and what people had a need for. And it was the tallow. So that's kind of how we got here and what our story is. So I'm going to just take you through a little bit about how we do our processing. And some of the benefits of tallow. So if you want to click for me, Brenda.
Oh, we have a clicker.
Oh, you have a clicker.
Yeah.
This is fancy. Okay. What do I push? This one?
Yep.
Okay. So a lot of times I get the question, like, why tallow? Like, that's kind of gross. And the processing, I'm not going to lie, is kind of gross. But the benefits of tallow are really amazing. It is bioidentical to our own skin. So since we are an animal, and tallow comes from an animal, it's absorbed really well into our skin. It's also really high in the exact vitamins and fatty acids that our skin needs to be healthy. So I think of it like feeding your body good food. If you feed your body good fruits and vegetables and proteins and all those kind of good things, you're gonna be healthier, and you're gonna be able to heal from sickness better and just be your best self. So that's really what tallow does for your skin, is it feeds it the nutrients it needs so it can like heal itself and do its thing. And so that's why it's good for so many skin conditions, because it just like feeds it good nutrition. So some of the things that it's good for, healing, anti-aging. It doesn't clog your pores. That's kind of a misconception out there. It's about a 2 or a 3 on that scale, from 0 to 10, simply because it's so close to our skin. Yeah, all skin types. I'm a redhead. I have horrible skin, acne-prone skin, constantly red, and that's why I use it. So everything that I make is pretty much because I need it. Yeah, so the next thing here is just all of the different uses for tallow. So I use it in my hair, I use it on my kiddos, I use it for newborns, I use it on my cracked heels. Okay, well, I don't actually use it on my cracked heels, but I should. It works really well. I'm just too lazy to do it. On your face, after sun care, even on your pets. I try to keep as many ingredients edible as I can in our products. So, here's the cows.
They're so cute.
It's this year's cows, actually.
Aww.
So there's there's like 5 in this picture. And this is their actual home. It was in January, so that's why it's not green. But this is the pasture that they live in. So they're fed a diet of, I call it a holistic diet. So side note on grass-fed beef and grass-fed tallow. It's a really popular buzzword. Technically, grass-fed beef or grass-fed tallow, you can call it grass-fed if that cow has ever eaten grass in their life, which I don't like. because I think it's really misleading. So I don't put grass-fed on our products, even though technically they are, because they've had other things other than grass in their life. So they're on pasture, they do have grass, but they're also fed grains, they're fed alfalfa, they are fed corn stalks, they're fed like a really rounded, we call it a holistic diet. So that's kind of my pet peeve about grass-fed, is because I feel like it's deceptive in the industry. This is one of our little kiddos feeding the cows. And this is what a piece of fresh organ tallow looks like right off of the animal. Still warm before it's been froze. If you have seen other tallow influencers, maybe on Instagram or something like that, you're not going to see this picture, because most tallow producers or tallow people will get their tallow like this. They're going to get it from a processor. Even if it's a local processor, what they do at a locker is, you know, they're processing the beef usually. I mean, I can't speak for all lockers, but usually they're processing the beef and they're chucking the tallow into a big bin. And so you're going to get tallow from a variety of different animals, a variety of different genetics, and then you're left to sort of make a product that, like, you have to make the tallow fit your product instead of the other way around. The way we do it is we keep the cattle separate, because, right, like each family's getting their own cow, and so we get really possessive about our meat. And so this particular cow's tallow is probably going to be maybe a little bit squishier, or maybe a little bit firmer, or maybe a little more yellow, or maybe a little bit more white. Every cow's tallow is different, and just like every person's body and their health is different. And so, I don't have a picture of it here. If you go to our social media, there's a couple pictures of it. When we render our tallow down, we'll literally keep a note of like cow B, and then where it came from, which cut it came from on the cow. And then based on how that tallow is acting, we listen to the tallow, and then that's what product we make out of it. So if it's a little bit softer, it's going to go into one of our oils or maybe one of our emulsified lotions. If it's a real firm tallow, it's probably going to go into one of our balms. So yeah, I did bring, for those of you that are here, a sample of tallow. This is, and it was in the freezer, so it's going to be cold. This is a piece of, I'll show everybody at home. You gotta hold up higher. Right here? Okay, so this is unrendered. We call it, some people call it leaf tallow, some people call it suet, but it's the fat that's around and protecting the organs, so around the kidneys, in that area of the cow. If you guys wanna, you can look, touch, whatever you want to. So that is what the tallow will look like. We render it down until it looks like this. So this nice white puck here, oh, that just split in half on me. Can you see that? Is what the rendered down tallow will look like. And that's rendered probably, usually about 5 or 6 times to make sure that we get all of the smell out of it, so you don't go around smelling like a pot roast.
Oh, I like the smell of pot roast.
Yeah. So that's kind of our process to render it down. We cook it low and slow, and then strain it through like an oil filter. Not an oil, not like your car. It's like a deep fat fryer filter kind of a thing made for like oils. Yeah, we do that 5 or 6 times, kind of just making notes on how the tallow is behaving each time. How it's hardening up, if it's like smelling a little more beefy or not, if it's gonna need more. And so by the time we're done, we have like this whole like chart, if you will, like a medical chart on this tallow to know like what are we gonna do with this exact batch of tallow that we have here.
Do you ever get nose blind? Where
Yes.
you can't tell if it's beefy anymore, you gotta leave for a while?
Yeah. We're constantly going around each other and like our family like, here, smell this. Like, what does this smell like to you? This was, I don't think I can plug it on the computer. No, that's okay. That was just a video that of us grinding the tallow. So when we harvest it from the cow, we run it through a grinder just to get it nice and small. So that's what the first piece is. It's just from the grinder. That's why it's kind of in that tube shape. After we render it, all the impurities will kind of sink to the bottom. And so this is scraping off any impurities that might be stuck to the tallow. And then the final step is whipping it up. So for a tallow balm, the only ingredients in that, since we listen to the tallow and its structure, we're able to do about 95% tallow in our balms. Most, like even local tallow people will do about 75% because they're using usually that mixed tallow. But our balms are roughly 95%. The other ingredients that we use in that balm are grapeseed oil, although I think we're going to be moving to sunflower oil just because it has a longer shelf life. Those are both edible, which is important to me, and then a little bit of vitamin E. And then sometimes we'll put an essential oil in it for a scent. But that's it. It's almost 100% tallow. The other thing that we do that a lot of tallow vendors don't do is we do an emulsified lotion. So it's got a few more ingredients in it, but it takes away those qualities that people don't like in tallow. So people don't like the fact that it's a little bit greasy because it's a fat, it's an oil, and it's not temperature stable. So if you're gonna order tallow from Amazon in the summertime and it comes to you and it's like nice, you're not really getting tallow. I mean, there might be some tallow in it, but that's not tallow. Because tallow is going to melt if it's, depending on the cut, much above room temperature, or at least above like 80 or 90 degrees. It's gonna melt into an oil. Like that's what we use to cook and to fry in. So that's just kind of a word of caution if you're ordering it online. Most places, like I won't ship tallow balm, especially in the summertime, or like even now, because I don't know where it's gonna go. And it's gonna melt and it's gonna arrive to you, not quality. So we do an emulsified blend where we basically take the tallow and we take water and we take an emulsifying wax to make a mix. And then because we have water in there, we have to put a preservative, otherwise you have bacteria and you have fungus and that's gross. So we use as natural a preservative as we can. And then we make that. And so then it's temperature stable. It will melt like if you have it in a hot car or direct sunlight, but then it'll like reconstitute itself. So it still will melt, but it's a lot more temperature stable. So you can like throw it in your purse or something like that. You don't have to worry about keeping it, like super, super cool. The other thing that I love that we do is we do a lot of infusions. So we take that traditional herbal medicine and we infuse that directly into the tallow and the oils. And then we'll actually take those same herbs and then we'll make a tea out of the water. So we're like double infusing it. And so we have a lot of medicinal products. So we have one that's targeted at anti-aging. We have one that's targeted at digestive health. Let's see, one that's targeted at like wound healing. One that's targeted for lymph drainage. And how I come up with these is that like they're things that I want to use myself. Our latest one, I call it everything because my little boy had eczema that usually tallow knocks out, but for some reason it wasn't with him. So we took every possible infusion we could think of that helps that and put it into this product and like it's everything. So that's just what we called it. And we grow a lot of those things on our homestead too. So I know exactly where they're coming from. This year we're hoping to put in even some new raised beds. I have a whole bunch of like baby plants in my greenhouse right now, so they'll be growing up and that will what we'll be infusing this summer. Yeah, so we do a lot of things. And the other plug I was just gonna make, how do I bring the other one up here?
I can do it.
Okay, cool. So where to find our stuff? We were recently, the easiest place would have been at Painted Tree at South Point, but it closed last week, unexpectedly. So kind of the plug that I am making is we're trying to get into some other stores. I just signed a contract today with Creative Collab, so it's at 14th and Old Cheney here in Lincoln, behind the Phillips 66. It's open 24 hours. You just go up to the door and there's a phone number that you call and then they give you the code. And so you can put in that code and then you can just go in there. There's a whole bunch of vendors and you just pay with Venmo usually, right there in the store. So we're gonna be in there starting next week. We're gonna be at Copper and Wax up at University Place up by Wesleyan. When we get our products in there, give us a week or so to get in there. But then the biggest thing is if you guys wanna help us out, it would be great to go to our Facebook page and follow us. And then, even better, if you'd like to, can you scroll clear up to the top, Brenda?
I lost it.
Okay, it's fine. So clear up at the top, there's usually 3 dots. If you click on those 3 dots, then you can click invite friends. If you would invite your friends, the reason I'm asking you to do that is to get into retail stores, they want to see we have a following. And we know we have a following, but not everybody just goes to social media and just follows, their favorite brands. So we're just trying to tell everybody that likes our products to go and follow our brands so we can let them know that, hey, we have a following, people love this stuff, and we want to be able to have other outlets to get it out there. We are also at the farmers market, the Sunday farmers market at College View.
Yay!
Pretty much every week, and that starts this weekend, this Sunday, 10 to 2 at the parking lot by the Adventist church there. Yeah, and like various other markets. And we also have a website, which you can find on our social media pages too. So
I have a question.
yeah.
So what would normally happen to the tallow if it weren't made into something?
So
Do most people just pitch it?
Yeah, it's becoming really popular now. It's kind of coming back in style, if you will, back in vogue. So people are cooking with it again. People are making soap. People are making lotions and skincare products. It's a little more expensive now because there's a higher demand for it recently. But in years past, it was just pitched. So it's what like my grandmother used. And then post World War II, we went to more chemical-based products. And yeah, most of that was just discarded, made into dog food. I don't know what they did with it, in big meat packing facilities. But it is considered a waste product. And now we're seeing the value that our grandmothers and our great-grandmothers had when they were using this product and just how well it works. It's really kind of incredible coming from a redhead, terrible skin person.
You guys have any questions?
I've got a question,
Yeah.
which I know we already asked you, which is about, so one of the hot topics in the crunchy community is what hormones
Oh,
they
yeah.
injected in, and then like how that transfers into the fat and
Yeah.
Antibiotics.
for antibiotics. And
Yeah.
you had said, what did you say?
I said I have no idea because the nice thing about raising such a small herd of cattle is there's biodiversity on this farm, and so there's no need for it.
Yeah, so your product doesn't have that, so we don't even need
Right.
to worry about it,
Right, exactly.
which is great. I like
Exactly.
that.
Like I imagine, it could very much be transferred. And before I got into this, I didn't realize the impact of absorbing things through your skin.
Yeah.
And that it can actually be more impactful than even just like digesting something or taking a pill. So for example, like with our magnesium, like I take a magnesium, but then it has to survive my entire digestional tract and it just goes wherever my body decides to send it. But I can put it on topically and then I can just target whichever area I need to. So whatever hurts, I can put that magnesium on to help me out, and it's absorbed directly into my bloodstream that way. So yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's the patch.
It's the
The
patch.
tallow patch.
It kind of is.
Yeah.
That's cool. Tell about the lymphatic drainage one you made.
Yeah, so I was buying a product during my last couple of pregnancies because I swelled up like a balloon. Yeah, this is it. And I looked at the ingredients and I was like, I can do so much better than that. Even the infusions. Oh, right here.
That's good.
Even the infusions. I knew that there was better infusions than what I was buying. So the main infusion in this one is cleavers, which actually grows in a lot of yards as weeds, interestingly enough. And juniper berries, all things that we grow and can find in Nebraska. So it's really crazy. I just love to lean into that traditional knowledge. Native Americans have a ton of wisdom in that area, and I just love to learn from those tribes and those medicine keepers and herbalists. I'm not one myself, but I just really value the knowledge that they bring and try to learn from them. Right? Good questions?
Well, go ahead.
No, you said at the beginning that you put it on your hair.
Yeah.
I was just like, does it make it greasy or how does it help your hair?
Depends on your hair type. So I have really dry hair.
Okay.
So I make a scalp serum that I put on because I have a really dry, itchy, flaky scalp. Let's see. This one is to make your hair grow. I stay far away from that one because I have way too much hair. But this is, I don't know if you can see that, the Scalp Relief Serum. That has, the first ingredient is tallow, and then it's got some tea tree oil, and I forget what this is infused with. Just some calming herbs, so like chamomile, hibiscus, calendula, to calm that down. But then the balm, actually, so this is the one that I was talking about that's like 95% tallow. This is like, you can put this in your hair as like a hair mask, just for like some hydration. So it depends on your kind of hair. I put it like in the ends of my hair, and because my hair is so dry, it doesn't look greasy at all. Like I probably need some more now because it's kind of frizzy. So it just depends on your hair type. The scalp one, I put in like the day before I'm gonna wash my hair and like let it sit all day. And it does look greasy because I put a ton of it in. So it just depends like how you use it and what your hair type is. My husband uses it as a styling product. He's got longer hair.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Well, thank you so much. We're
Yeah,
gonna turn the
thank you.
Facebook group off, and we're gonna do a drawing here for our prize in house. Let's give Jodi a round of applause.